Hello, hello, hello. This is Daniel Winton, CEO of Operating in the Black. I am so glad that you are here with us today. We have a fantastic guest. Our mission is to facilitate meaningful discussions with people who shape industries and communities. Through engaging interviews and thought provoking content, we strive to provide our audience with actionable insights, expert advice, and valuable connections. Sphere of Influence seeks to be a trusted resource for individuals seeking to expand their knowledge, network, opportunities, their personal and professional journeys. And I just wanted to let you know today, I have one of my most favorite people in the world, Mr. Stephen LaBroi. He is a public speaker, author. He sells one of the most interesting products out in the market, and I don't even want to sell. Just a lot of the times we don't get this information, but I don't want to spoil his thunder. I want you to meet one of the most fantastic men that you're going to meet in the United States. Let's bring up Stephen LaBroi. Let's get him on the phone today.
How you doing, Daniel?
Hello, I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. I know a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, I'm so glad to meet my next guest," but this is truly an honor, and I'm so thankful that you have taken the time out to be with me and the rest of my subscribers to listen to a very very important topic regarding how to use investment as a bank and all the things that you do with that. So I could you take a few minutes and just tell us a little bit about yourself? You could spend like 1 or 2 minutes with that, and then I have some questions that I would personally like to ask you for our guest.
Thank you. And thank you for having me today. This is truly an honor. We've been working together for quite some time now, and I'm glad to see that this platform is really, really blossoming. I'm Steve LaBroi, for your audience's information. I hail out of Washington, D.C. I run an independent financial strategy firm. What's that?
Right.
That's a firm that basically helps people and business owners strategically look at their financials. We include areas of interest like life insurance or business insurance. We refer to great companies like Operating in the Black to help people round out a picture. We don't just talk product, we talk solutions. So we've been doing this for about 15 years and really excited to be here today. So thank you again, Daniel.
Well, we are quite on this side of the fence. Very very thankful for you being here. Can you share your journey in getting into the finance industry? I know you've been doing this for close to 20 years now, and we just didn't see a whole lot of Black people in that industry 20 years ago. So what got you into working with money?
Well, I really had an epiphany, and it was more of a full circle event. I have a finance degree from Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and
Okay.
always wanted to work with money.
Morehouse in the house.
Hey,
Morehouse in the
gotta love
house.
it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. One of the great HBCU institutions. I
Absolutely.
did for myself. My finance degree took me to fall of 1987. In fact, October 19th, 1987. If you're that old, you'll remember we had a huge stock market crash.
Yes, we did.
So from that point, I actually ran the other way. I decided that, wow, why am I going into this industry? Because it crashed. But I was too young and naive to understand that at the bottom of a crash is nothing but an upward trajectory of money. I took on a career in sales and entrepreneurship with various industries and companies throughout my initial foray in the workforce.
Okay.
Ended up
Okay.
getting an epiphany about finance. And, all of this was full circle. I left a big startup company with a huge buyout. And I got an epiphany that asked, why do a lot of people that look like me not have the information necessary to flourish with the money they're making. We're making
Right.
ton of money. But what do we do with it? We just spend it. We're always looked at as major consumers, but very little on a macro level as a producer. Uh,
Okay.
it's getting better, but it's still not where it needs to be. So
Well, let
again,
me ask you a question on that. What advice would you give someone that wants to get in the industry just like you did?
well, I mean, I'd say to do your homework, research. Don't go for the first opportunity that you see, because if you're in a finance capacity, it's all
Right.
about performance. It's all
Right.
about sales. So
Okay.
everybody's going to sell you on their opportunity as if it's the best thing going. Do your homework, talk to as many people as possible to find your niche and what you feel is your personal mantra regarding finance, and then just take the leap of faith and jump in.
Okay. Okay. Well, now this is with all the innovations that are coming out with Bitcoin. I mean, there's like 700 types of Bitcoin, all different types of things. What trends are you seeing in the industry that are really, inspiring you? What are you seeing out there that you really think that my audience should really be taking a look at?
Well, there's not one thing that is so special that you should just point to. It has a
Okay.
lot to do with your personal strategy, where you are, what you're doing, what you want to see as goals. Yes, Bitcoin and all of the cryptocurrencies are getting a lot of buzz, but yet at the same time, a lot of those companies are going bad and bankrupt.
Yeah.
Some of the
Yeah.
owners are going to jail. So we have to look deeper and also direct as it relates to your family and what you want your legacy to be. So you should have a mantra of financial tools that make up what you need. So, it could be comprised of stocks, real estate, insurance products, which are guaranteed contracts, gold and silver. I always talk about all the asset classes. In fact,
Okay.
original artwork as well as an asset
Yeah.
class that will grow in value, that you can keep on your wall and one day collateralize if you need money.
I
Yeah.
know there was this famous rapper. Who was that bought a piece for, or was it Eddie Murphy that bought the Good Times original painting for like 100,000, and now it's worth like 10 million? Who would have thought
Oh
something
yeah,
like that?
yeah. If you focus on the asset classes, and that's where our strategic firm helps people that want to be helped, then if you buy a mantra of asset classes, you will always be okay, because each asset class has a different liquidity, meaning you can
Right.
access money differently. And some even collateralizes, again, the value, and you're able to actually access cash. In a lifetime, Daniel, you're going to always need cash. You're going to always need some form of transactional money. And that's
Right.
what we teach.
Let me go back to something that seems to be near and dear to your heart. I kind of cut you off because I wanted to ask this question because I really want to spotlight you for this particular question. Uh, the African American Black community generates more wealth than most countries in the world. As a matter of fact, if we separated ourselves, we would be somewhere in the neighborhood of one of the top or six, seven economies in the world. I'd like to take for you to take a few moments just to talk to us, one of our older brothers to us about the importance of money and what you've seen and just how can we be better with that.
Well, first we have to get our mindset around the fact that money is a tool. It's a
Right.
tool, right? So just like a hammer, just like a screwdriver, it helps you get the job done. So
Okay.
when it in line with that, you have to start to understand your mindset. What is the job you need to get done? What are we trying to get done? Are we trying to own a lot of things and stuff, that other people produce? Or are we
Right.
trying to create the assets that we can sit on that are transferable to our kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and so forth and so on? The idea around money being a tool has not been in our purview because in our community, we've always been the test market, the
Right.
market who people have actually created advertising for, putting products in our community that have no place being there. The
Okay.
idea around building wealth now with the information that's available through the internet and other sources is starting to look at building assets, land, real estate. I see a lot of people starting to focus on that, and we have to combat that with going back and getting our parents and grandparents who are still around and bringing them into the fold. As a community, if we turn those $1 trillion around, we will become a nation, even though we live in different parts of the world. And I'm
Okay.
just I'm just really, really passionate about that.
Uh, I mean, I really appreciate that because that was just one of the things that I see so much of is that we purchase a lot of things, but we don't own a lot of things. Now, one of the products that I was very kind of interested in talking about today is personal banking. Is that something that you recommend?
Well, personal banking is a strategy and it literally can take on different types of meaning. So when
Okay.
I talk about personal banking, I'm talking about using tools like life insurance to create a bank that you control. See, you don't
Okay.
control the commercial banks. The Federal Reserve controls a lot of their activities. So
Okay.
that's why in a lot of markets, they can change the interest rate, decline people from borrowing, or
Right.
open the floodgates and allow a lot of people to borrow. The
Right.
key
Right.
is, what do you do with the money that you take in? Creating a personal bank with tools like insurance that you own, another asset class,
Okay.
set up properly, and then you are the bank and the borrower. How about being that? The bank and the borrower. That means you make all the decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'd like to give you just a few minutes to spotlight your business. Tell us a little bit about your business and how people can get a hold of you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I always, like to share with people my trademark book, Build Your Human Equity Line of Credit, trademarking the term human equity line of credit. And that's based on the fact that we teach how to build life insurance products that benefit you and your family. We don't just tell or sell. We have a firm that's a nationwide strategy firm. We're licensed in well over 40 states, and we help people that are interested in learning for their family and their own edification based on all the incomes that they're starting to bring in. We help them understand how to put these tools together so that 4 generations from now, just like 4 generations ago, a lot of the wealthy families in this country have actually been able to take advantage of. We're starting now, and we are the legacy change. So we appreciate you. I mean, we're the LaBroi Insurance Group. Don't let that name fool you. We're a financial strategy firm. We refer and we make sure that you have all the tools and services you need to build a complete portfolio. So I appreciate you, Daniel. You are a phenomenal businessman, and hey, we'll continue to work together.
Well, one of the things I always like to ask because, business is about people. So, how do you manage the stress of the day to day? The making the phone calls, the following up with people that just don't quite understand the importance of what you do. the one of the things that I like to share regarding financial tools is that I used to actually work for a funeral home, and we would go out and we would market that product, which I absolutely believe that everyone should have a plan. And there was this family of about 200 people that came out to the cemetery. It looked just like me. And because the it was the provider of the house, when he died, there was just no provisions for his death, and he was in the least expensive part of the funeral of the cemetery. They had to it had rain, so they had to use bricks. We're in Florida, so we have a high water table, so had to use bricks to weigh the coffin down to actually get the poor man buried, and literally everyone there was traumatized, and he was a business owner, so he didn't have any of that set up. So not only did they lose the business owner, they lost the business. So, what are some of the things that you do to kind of say, I've got a plan for all this? How do I manage my stress? Do you go to the gym? What exercises do you do mentally to prepare yourself to stay healthy and in shape for what you do?
Well, that's a great question, and I appreciate that. I can give you a number of things. I pray, I walk,
Oh, yeah.
I meditate, and I try to eat clean as I can, and understand that this is a whole picture of
Okay.
teaching and educating people who may not necessarily have the intention of understanding, but are really, really in need of this information.
Okay.
And, you just have to pray for discernment for those people that want this information to show up. Took me a long time to learn that I can't affect everybody. I'm going to be very
Okay.
frank with you,
All
which
right.
is why I wrote the book. My second edition will be out soon. And I'm working with co-writing a book called The Financial Miseducation of the Negro, because we are literally trying to get it to everybody we can.
Okay.
There's a lot of dysfunction and a lot of people in these markets. And one of the things that you have to do is just find those people who really want to learn, and so
Okay.
you have to have that in your heart.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this one that comes up, and this is the reason why you're here. How do you know who to trust? Because in our community, it seems like as soon as someone gets a little bit of fame, a little bit of money, then they run off with your money. And then if you as a financial expert say, hey, don't go over there and talk to that person, then everybody gets on to you about messing up someone else's hustle. So what do you recommend to people on when they're using or investing in financial products, or they're trying to make that decision with who to go with? What is your advice on that?
Well, again, take your time. Whenever your emotions are high and your interest is super high, take 24 hours to breathe.
Okay.
I've experienced this when I was flush with quite a bit of cash, and the first inclination was spend, spend, spend.
Okay.
If you take your time, you breathe, you sleep on it, you ask the most confidant person in your life, whether it's your spouse, or your parent,
Right.
what should you do? And then you just review, review, review. They tell you to get 3 quotes anytime you're buying, you're engaging a vendor. And there's a
Okay.
reason for that. Most of us don't feel like we have the time to get 3 quotes. We just go with the first one. But that's when we make a mistake.
Okay.
So take
Okay.
your time.
So you're saying take your time, definitely get multiple quotes, and then use that other tool that you were talking about, is pray before you make any financial decisions. And I think that's always great, great advice. Now, also back to the business, networking is crucial in any industry. What insights can you give on that, as far as how should people engage with other people and why should they engage with other people?
Well, I've always looked at networking from a different perspective. I used to run an organization when I was in my younger professional days with 150 members.
Okay.
Networking to me is giving. If you extend your hand, there's only two things that people can do. They either can extend their hand back or they have to tell somebody how they received the benefit you provided. And that
Okay.
builds your reputation. It builds your honor in whatever it is you're professional at. And it creates a network for you just by organic means. Networking, Daniel, is giving. I'm going to come to you and offer you assistance and help. If I
Right.
can offer you something and that it works for you, guess what? The excitement that that brings to you, even if you don't reciprocate, somebody's
Okay.
going to notice and you're going to tell somebody, hey, that guy, Steve LaBroi, was helped me out. You should
Right.
call him. And so networking to me is a very vibrant thing. We're networking online these days. Now we're back outside, so we're networking in person. But always remember, networking is giving.
Networking is giving. I love that. I absolutely love that. What are some of the personal successes, some of the highlights? I know you're a public speaker, you're a motivational speaker, you've got a couple of books out there. What are some of the personal highlights of your life that you'd like to talk about for a few minutes?
Well, it's hard to talk about a lot of this stuff. I just
It's
enjoy.
okay to pat yourself on the back, Mr.
Yeah,
LeBroy.
well,
It's okay. You
listen,
know,
I
all,
enjoy what I do. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping people. I'm
right.
a big part of my alumni association. I try to give back to young entrepreneurs. I get a lot of them calling me, wanting to have a conversation where they can't get the conversation with other successful business owners. So I sit and talk to them and try to encourage them. So one of the things that I feel like I pride myself on is just being open and available to have these conversations with people who want to learn. And so, with that, got over 600 customers that I've been able to amass, and each customer, I hope has something good to say.
Right, right. Well, I tell you what, the folks that you have referred over to operating in the black absolutely love you. They absolutely trust you. And we just have conversation after conversation about Stephen LaBroi. So, as a matter of fact, where was your last speaking engagement? Because I see you on magazines. I see you. Where was your last speaking engagement?
Well, I was on stage at a conference recently, and just talking about insurance and talking about strategy.
Right.
I'm always asked to be able to give some of those gems and those pearls that people need to hear, and they need to hear it
Okay.
more than once, because when you
Right.
hear it once, it sounds too good to be true. So when you hear it more than once, you start to understand that it can happen for you. So yeah, it's like I'm actually going to be speaking early next year. So, just
So where are you going to be? Tell them where you're going to be. Maybe they want to show up and hear
hey,
more from you.
I'm just firming it up now, so I don't want to put
Okay.
it
All
out.
right. Well, we'll have you back on so you can tell us about your speaking engagement.
All
One of the
right.
thing, one of the things that I want to talk to you about is fear. But I know in my business, a lot of people who have challenged credit are afraid to contact us, and we say, please don't. That's the reason why we're here. So everything is going to be a soft landing here. We don't judge. What are you saying to people that say, you know what, I don't have a whole lot of money to invest, and I don't want to call this guy and only have $25 a month to invest? What would you say to people like that?
I really, my thing is you must open up. When you first started learning, you didn't know anything. And that I
Right.
go all the way back to first grade. So having a gap when it comes to understanding money, it doesn't have an age to it.
Okay.
Wanting
Okay.
to be very proficient and efficient when it comes to money means that we have to open up and,
Right.
leave the fear behind. Like you said, Daniel, your company, my company, there's no judgment. The judgment is only when you need to understand this so you can be better, so
Right.
your family can be better.
Right.
So, the people in your sphere can be better with the information. And again, most of the time, I continue to tell my clients, none of this is your fault. It's not your fault.
It has been hidden, and people think it's a joke, but it has been hidden.
Right, right. And through the years, if we look at history, which I like to basically talk about,
Right.
it brings us today to a point in which we're able to bring in all these incomes, but yet we didn't have the information as to what to do with the money when we get it. Some of us are willing to understand that right from the beginning. And as you know, Daniel, we talk to people all the time. Some of us have to walk into a wall
Yep.
before they turn around and say, hey, I need help. And
Absolutely.
either way, we're here for you. And the idea is that, hey, that's how we learn. And we
Okay.
learn by understanding that these opportunities are available for us to get the information. And
All
you can
right.
get it right from us.
Absolutely. And there's no judgment. Well, we're running down to our final few minutes in the show. I'd like you to take about a minute and just again give people a just your final thoughts, but also give them a way to make sure that they can get a hold of
All right. Yeah. Again, Steve LaBroi. You can get me at LaBroiInsuranceGroup.com. I am on all social media. You may find me on Instagram, S LaBroi or Stephen LaBroi. I'm still learning this social media. So find me on social media and reach out. I will respond. Facebook. We're just here to provide information where a lot of firms are providing information and they may not give you the communication necessary to interpret it. We will make it plain and we will make sure that you understand it before you move forward. The key to life is communication in the style in which you absorb it. When you get communicated with, you want to make sure you get full understanding, especially when it comes to money. So our goal is to help you become strategically and financially stable, again, for you and for your generations to come. We appreciate today. It's been nothing but blessing. And Daniel, hey man, I know I'm gonna see you out there. So let's keep
you.
let's keep doing good work for the people.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I say a good wave to Mr. LaBroi. Please contact him. It'll be well worth your time. And so much. Thank you for showing up, Stephen. We certainly appreciate your time. Again, this is Daniel Winton, CEO of Operating in the Black. I know you got some great information from Mr. LaBroi today. Again, he is absolutely fantastic. So we definitely tell you, please call him, and definitely when you call him, let him know that you saw the interview here on Operating in the Black. Please like the video and subscribe. We certainly are going to have some great guests that'll be coming on as well in the future, and we don't want you to miss that. So, on behalf of our family here at Operating in the Black, again, thank you so very much for your time today. We really know and appreciate every person that spends time with us. Thank you and have a great, great day.